Hey everyone, welcome back to Iraqi Dinar Intelligence. Today's broadcast is one for the history books. After years, no decades of waiting, watching, and wondering if this day would ever come, something massive is finally unfolding right before our eyes. The Iraqi Dinar and the Vietnamese Dong are now showing rates that could redefine what we thought was possible. We're not just talking about minor updates or rumors floating around online. This is real movement happening in real time, and the momentum behind it is unlike anything we've ever seen before. So grab your coffee, sit back, and stay with me until the end, because what's happening right now could change not just financial charts, but real lives around the world. In today's coverage, we're diving deep into this monumental shift, the one investors, analysts, and everyday holders have dreamed about for more than 20 years. For so long, both Iraq and Vietnam have been viewed as sleeping giants of the financial world, economies rich in potential, weighed down by conflict, recovery, and rebuilding. But now in 2025, that long-awaited transformation seems to be unfolding at full speed. We're seeing numbers appear on internal exchange systems that are breaking historical limits, and we're hearing official statements hinting at long-term plans finally entering their final stages. It's more than just a market move. It's the beginning of a new economic chapter for two nations stepping into global financial power. To understand how extraordinary this moment is, we have to remember where it all began. Back in the early 2000s, Iraq's currency went through dramatic changes, following years of instability and reconstruction. The dinar, once a proud and powerful national currency, became undervalued and trapped in local circulation. Many people doubted it would ever regain global relevance, yet those who believed, who held on through the long years, saw something others missed: the rebuilding of Iraq's foundation, new leadership, new infrastructure, and stronger trade partnerships. Today, those early believers are seeing their patience rewarded as the currency they once tucked away in drawers or safes is suddenly back in global conversations and at levels no one dared predict a few years ago. The same story is unfolding in Vietnam, a nation that has quietly built one of the most resilient and rapidly growing economies in Asia. The Vietnamese Dong has long been considered undervalued compared to the nation's actual productivity and export power. Over the past decade, Vietnam became a key manufacturing hub for the world, partnering with major companies, developing a strong digital banking system, and proving its economic discipline. And now it seems like the timing of its currency adjustment appearing right alongside Iraq's isn't a coincidence. It looks like coordinated reform, perhaps part of a broader plan to bring regional stability and parity among emerging Asian economies. Now, here's where things get even more interesting. According to multiple on-the-ground observations and consistent insider reports, both currencies have moved into new international rate zones, and not by small margins. We're seeing record-breaking figures that are 3 to 5 times higher than projections made just a few months ago. The Iraqi dinar, for instance, has been reported in some early system tests to be hovering around the 390 to 420 range, while the Vietnamese Dong is being spotted between 270 and 360. For currencies that have remained relatively flat for years, that's an enormous shift, and it's sending shockwaves through financial circles worldwide. So what changed? Why now, after so many years of preparation, is everything suddenly accelerating? The answer seems to lie in one word: readiness. Iraq has finally built the systems, partnerships, and political stability needed to sustain a globally traded currency. Earlier this year, its new digital banking network went live, linking domestic financial institutions with major international payment systems like SWIFT and Visa. This wasn't just a technical update, it was a structural milestone, allowing Iraq to conduct secure, instant global transactions like any other major economy. It showed the world that Iraq is not just talking about modernization, it's delivering it. At the same time, Iraq's leadership has been unusually transparent in its financial goals. Recent public remarks by top officials use language that would have been unthinkable just a few years ago, talking about monetary reform, international balance, and global confidence. These aren't speculative buzzwords. They signal a country positioning itself for a long-awaited currency adjustment. The fact that these statements are being made openly, not hidden in back channels, tells us that Iraq's government is confident that the foundation is strong, the partnerships are in place, and the world is ready to welcome the dinar back to international recognition. Vietnam, on the other hand, has been preparing for its own moment behind the scenes. The country has integrated digital payment systems across Asia, connected its banks with regional trade networks, and established compliance frameworks that meet global standards. Recently, discussions around exchange band adjustments have fueled speculation that Vietnam's central bank may be preparing to widen its rate controls, a key step before any official revaluation or par alignment. And when we look at the timing, both the Dong and Dinar moving together, it starts to look like more than coincidence. It feels like synchronization, a carefully planned step in a much larger financial strategy. Across the global banking system, small but powerful signals are starting to emerge. Several major banks, including a few Tier 1 institutions in the United States, have begun updating their internal foreign currency systems. Early screenshots show Dinar and Dong listed with active but pending rate updates. While we can't confirm when those rates will go public, the fact that they're visible in internal networks at all means something major is happening behind the scenes. Once these rates move from pending to live, the financial world will shift overnight, and that's exactly why investors and watchers around the world are glued to their screens. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement, but this is also a time for calm and careful preparation. History shows that when major currency events happen, those who move with patience and strategy come out far ahead. If you're one of the many who have held Dinar or Dong over the years, this is your moment to prepare. Organize your notes, keep records and receipts ready, and make sure your exchanges are done through legitimate licensed financial institutions. Remember, no one should ever charge you upfront fees for special access. If this truly is the global adjustment, many believe it is, legitimate channels will handle it smoothly and safely. Another thing to remember is that timing matters. In the early days of a new currency valuation, rates can fluctuate as markets stabilize. That's why patience, the same patience that got you this far, will remain your most powerful tool. Whether contract rates or international trading prices shift in the first few days, those who stay informed and avoid rushing into chaos will likely make the best decisions. Keep your eye on verified updates, not rumors or quick claims on social media. The information will come, and when it does, you'll want to be ready, not rushed. Let's take a step back and appreciate what this moment represents on a human level. For so many people around the world, the Dinar and Dong investments weren't just financial plays. They were acts of faith. Ordinary people believed that one day these countries would rebuild, re-emerge, and reclaim their rightful place in the global economy. It's been 2 decades of patience, of doubt, of hope. Through wars, leadership changes, and countless political challenges, that belief never completely faded. And now for the first time the signs are visible. The progress undeniable. For millions, this feels like validation. Proof that belief in recovery and reform can actually pay off. From a broader economic perspective, this development could ripple far beyond Iraq and Vietnam. A stronger dinar and dong could rebalance trade across the Middle East and Asia, potentially reducing over-reliance on traditional reserve currencies. It could open new trade corridors, encourage investment in rebuilding economies, and inspire other developing nations to modernize their financial frameworks. This isn't just about 2 currencies gaining value. It's about the global monetary system evolving slowly but surely toward a more multipolar structure, where economic power is distributed more evenly across regions. Now, some might still be skeptical, and that's fair. We've all heard countless predictions over the years, many of which came and went without change. But this time feels different. For one, governments themselves are openly acknowledging reform and modernization. Secondly, real technological upgrades are happening inside their banking systems, and these can be verified by market observers. And finally, mainstream economic outlets have begun using new language, terms like regional revaluation and currency modernization. Those words don't appear randomly. They are signals, subtle cues that major institutions are preparing the public for what's coming next. In this fast-moving moment, what can the average person do? The answer is simple. Stay grounded. While the excitement is real, so are the risks of misinformation. Follow credible updates. Keep your documentation secure and be careful about who you share information with. Remember, once these currencies begin trading openly, attention will surge, and not all of it will be friendly. Protect your privacy, your financial details, and your peace of mind. This is a time to act with wisdom, not panic. Preparation beats impulse every single time. If these reports continue to align, and if the trends we're seeing remain steady, we could be witnessing one of the most significant financial moments of this decade. Iraq and Vietnam are not just small markets adjusting their rates. They are nations emerging from decades of rebuilding, ready to integrate into the modern financial system. Every reform, every update, every technical milestone has been pointing toward this outcome. What once seemed like an impossible dream now looks like an inevitable reality in motion. As we enter the next few days and weeks, the key word to remember is confirmation. Official recognition visible on bank screens and global financial platforms will be the true sign that this transformation has gone public. When that happens, expect financial news networks, analysts, and economists to jump in immediately. The headlines will shift from speculation to confirmation, and the global conversation will change overnight. It's the moment so many have been waiting for, and it feels closer than ever. Let's not forget the human side again. Think of the farmers in Iraq who've worked through uncertainty, the small business owners in Vietnam who've kept faith in their economy, and the everyday people across the world who believed that one day these nations would rise again. This isn't just an economic story, it's an emotional one. A story about resilience, belief, and the long road toward restoration. Every note of dinar and dong represents more than currency. It's a symbol of a country's recovery, of hope refusing to die, even when the odds seemed impossible. In moments like this, history isn't written by governments alone. It's written by the people who stayed the course. Those who believed that rebuilding nations could find their strength again. Those who didn't give up when times got hard. If the current reports are right, then everyone who held on through the storms is about to witness what patience truly means. It's the kind of story our grandchildren might one day read about. The day two nations quietly rose from decades of hardship to reclaim their financial voice on the world stage. As this story develops, stay connected, right here, on Iraqi Dinar News. We'll continue tracking every official statement, every confirmed rate adjustment, and every new piece of verified data as it emerges. This is not the time to rely on rumors or wild predictions. It's the time for facts, observation, and smart decisions. Whether this full reevaluation goes live tonight, tomorrow, or next week, the trend is clear. Momentum is on the side of change. So, as we wrap up today's coverage, remember this. You're witnessing history unfold in real time. The infrastructure is ready. The leadership is aligned. The global systems are connected. And for the first time in over 2 decades, the dream of a fair, balanced, and internationally recognized dinar and dong doesn't sound like fantasy. It sounds like reality arriving at our doorstep. The patience, the faith, the waiting, it's all leading to this moment. Stay hopeful. Stay calm and stay informed. The world is watching. The markets are moving, and we are standing right on the edge of something monumental. This is history in the making. The rise of the Iraqi dinar and Vietnamese dong reaching record-breaking levels and reminding us all that, in the world of economics, as in life, patience truly does pay off. Until next time, keep your eyes on the updates, your mindset grounded, and your hope alive. You're watching Iraqi Dinar News, where history isn't just reported. Trust me, you'll want to stay tuned all the way through this one. Something massive has just broken out of Iraq, and it's not just another rumor. What's happening right now with the Iraqi dinar and the central bank is shaking global markets and sending shockwaves through the entire currency community. The secret that's been whispered about for months is finally out in the open. A new exchange rate framework, one that could completely change the future of the dinar, has officially been revealed. So, grab your coffee, hit that like button, and stick around till the end, because by the time we finish this breakdown, you'll understand exactly why people around the world are saying this could be the turning point we've all been waiting for. Let's start with what everyone's talking about. The Central Bank of Iraq has now confirmed the launch of a new contract exchange rate system. For years, investors and analysts have speculated about when Iraq would finally make its move toward a stronger, globally recognized currency. Well, that moment may have just arrived. According to the details now circulating in the financial community, Iraq is introducing a dual rate system, a public rate which most people see on Forex screens, and a private, contract-based rate which is reportedly being used for high-level agreements and institutional settlements. That second rate, the contract rate, is significantly higher, and that's the part changing everything. Now, before we dive into what this means for you as a dinar holder, Let's break down what a contract rate really is, because this isn't some conspiracy theory or market gossip. A contract rate simply means a pre-agreed value between two parties for specific transactions, usually involving major infrastructure projects, oil deals, or international settlements. It's not yet public, but it's often the early signal of where the official rate is headed. Think of it like a test run, a way for Iraq to operate internally at a stronger rate before flipping that same switch across the entire market. And if history has taught us anything, such internal adjustments almost always precede public revaluations. Now let's talk about why Iraq would even make this move. Right now, over the last 2 years, the country has been undergoing major economic reforms. They've built up more than $100 billion in foreign currency reserves, stabilized oil exports, and launched a nationwide digital banking initiative. The central bank has also tightened anti-money laundering controls, introduced traceable digital dinar transactions, and partnered with international clearing banks to ensure full compliance with global systems. In simple terms, Iraq's financial house is finally in order. The timing of this new exchange rate system isn't random. It's strategic, and it's designed to position Iraq as a legitimate and competitive player in the global economy. What's even more interesting is how this connects to recent moves by major global banks. Over the last several days, insiders from Tier 1 financial institutions in the U.S., including names like Chase and Wells Fargo, have hinted at internal system updates related to foreign currency exchange procedures. Screens have reportedly been modified to include fields for contract rate verification. That's not something you do for fun. It's something you do because your institution is preparing for a big change. Add to that, reports suggest U.S. banks are coordinating with Iraq's central bank to ensure compliance once the new rate is officially rolled out to the public side. Now let's bring this closer to the ground. Just a few months ago, Iraq quietly introduced a new 50 dinar note. Most people dismissed it as unnecessary or insignificant. But here's the truth. That small note was actually part of a much larger strategy. If a currency is going to increase in value, you need smaller denominations in circulation. Think about it. If 1 dinar suddenly equals close to $1, then a 25,000 dinar note becomes way too valuable for everyday use. The smaller notes, the 50, 100, and 250, are the bridge between the old rate and the new one. Their release was never about making change. It was about preparing the economy for a higher valued currency. So when you connect all these dots, the contract rate system, the digital reforms, the smaller notes, and the global banking updates, one conclusion becomes clear. The Iraqi Dinar revaluation process isn't just a rumor anymore. It's happening step by step right in front of us. The central bank is laying the groundwork for a gradual transition, not a sudden overnight shock. And that's exactly what experts have been predicting: a controlled revaluation where Iraq strengthens its currency in stages to avoid market instability, while ensuring every system is ready to handle the shift. Now, here's where the suspense deepens. Multiple sources within Iraq's financial sector have suggested that several oil trade agreements are already being settled using this new contract rate. That means Iraq is no longer relying entirely on the US dollar for those settlements. They're using their own currency at a stronger internal value. That's monumental. Why? Because it signals confidence. When a country starts settling international transactions in its own currency instead of someone else's, that's the ultimate sign that it's reclaiming financial sovereignty. It's Iraq saying, "We're ready to stand on our own." At the same time, the International Monetary Fund has been quietly supporting Iraq's economic recovery plan. Over the last year, they've conducted multiple review sessions to help Iraq align its fiscal policies with international standards. The IMF wanted Iraq to demonstrate stability, and that's exactly what's happening now. Inflation is down, reserves are up, and digital tracking systems are finally preventing the kind of currency leaks and corruption that plagued the country for years. The IMF's role here isn't to control Iraq. It's to ensure the world is ready to accept the dinar as a legitimate global currency again. And that brings us to what many are calling the economic sovereignty era. Iraq isn't just adjusting rates. They're rewriting their financial destiny. The country is moving toward independence from the US dollar for trade, while still keeping global partnerships intact. This means when the revaluation becomes official, Iraq's currency won't just be stronger. It'll be backed by oil exports, gold reserves, and a solid digital transaction network that's already integrated with Western and Asian clearing systems. In other words, they're not just raising the value of the dinar, they're upgrading its credibility. So what does this mean for everyday dinar holders watching right now? First and foremost, patience. This stage is about testing and verification. The banks, both in Iraq and abroad, are running dry runs, making sure every exchange platform, anti-laundering system, and contract validation protocol is bulletproof before going public. You can't rush this kind of transition. When it happens, it will be fully traceable, fully official, and 100% public. No secret exchanges, no shady groups, no early redemptions. When it's time, every major institution will confirm it directly and publicly. Now let's talk about timing. The question everyone's asking: why is this happening now in late 2025? Simple. Iraq has hit the financial conditions that global institutions have been waiting for. Their reserves are strong, the oil market is stable, their debt ratio has improved, and their digital currency infrastructure is live. All those were prerequisites for currency reform. The central bank couldn't move forward until those boxes were checked, and now they are. This is why we're finally seeing the contract rate roll out. It's the bridge leading to the full public revaluation, likely to follow once international audits and system verifications are completed in the coming months. If you've been following this channel for a while, we've talked about the quiet phase, the period where things are happening behind the scenes, but the public isn't yet seeing the official rate change. That's where we are right now. The quiet phase is ending and the active implementation has begun. And let's be real, it's been a long journey. For years, dinar investors have faced doubts, delays, and endless speculation. But now for the first time, we're seeing official mechanisms, not rumors, confirming that Iraq is moving forward with a higher value framework. Let's look at the regional perspective. Iraq's new economic vision aims to align the dinar with neighboring currencies like the Saudi riyal and Kuwaiti dinar. That doesn't mean par overnight, but it does mean Iraq is setting its sights high. The stronger the dinar becomes, the more purchasing power Iraq gains in global trade, and that boosts investor confidence. It also invites foreign direct investment, creating a cycle where economic strength fuels further currency value. In short, a higher dinar doesn't just help holders, it rebuilds the nation's economy from the inside out. And the digital side of this is just as fascinating. Iraq's new financial infrastructure allows every note, every transfer, and every digital transaction to be tracked in real time. That's something many developed nations still struggle with. It means transparency, accountability, and efficiency. Exactly what global markets want to see before recognizing a currency on the international stage. The central bank didn't just modernize for convenience. It modernized to qualify for this moment, the revaluation moment. So if you're watching this wondering, is this finally real? The answer is yes. It's as real as it's ever been. Iraq isn't talking about change anymore. They're enacting it systematically, one verified step at a time. And as this process unfolds, the ripple effect will be global. Middle Eastern markets will feel it first, followed by European and American trading systems once the rate becomes fully transparent. Every indication suggests we're nearing the public phase, and it's no longer a matter of if, but when. Now, let's talk about what to do next. If you hold Iraqi dinar, this is the time to stay alert, informed, and cautious. Keep your currency secure. Avoid unverified exchange offers and stay tuned to official banking updates. Don't fall for rumors or private group claims. When the revaluation goes live, it will be headline news. You won't miss it. Every major financial outlet will report it, and the rates will be public across all legitimate platforms. In closing, the release of the contract rate marks a historic moment in Iraq's modern financial history. The country has transitioned from speculation to execution, from planning to performance. The pieces, smaller notes, digital banking, global partnerships, IMF compliance, and now the internal rate adjustment, have all aligned. This isn't luck. This is a national strategy unfolding exactly as designed. So as you finish this video, remember we are witnessing history in motion. The reevaluation isn't a dream. It's a process, and it's happening right now. Stay calm, stay patient, stay focused. Big changes aren't just coming. They're already underway. This is your channel for everything happening in real time with Iraq's currency transformation. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on the bell because the next update might just be the one that changes everything. Until next time, stay informed, stay prepared, and never forget, the secret's out and the new Iraqi dinar exchange rate era has begun.